welcome all. Let's gotta do our preliminaries here. So, welcome to the Confidential Computing Consortium Outreach Committee meeting. It is July 9th, and we are a group dedicated to promoting this protection of data in use through confidential computing. We adhere to the Linux Foundation antitrust policy, which is really important when you have groups of people coming together in cooperative effort, but they may compete with each other out in the marketplace. So please be familiar with the antitrust policy. Today's agenda, do some additional stuff here on the early work, approval of minutes from last week, welcoming of the new attendees. I see a few new faces today. We'll do some quick updates on some business, just some bits and bobs. Then we will talk a little bit about Open Source Summit North America and the summit. Quick update on AI infrastructure summit plans and status. We're going to do a quick look at the plan to recover our credit and make use of that at the Canopy location in San Francisco. Then hopefully we clear all of that in the first 25 minutes or so, because I do want to have a discussion among the members about really our marketing strategy and our outreach plan. I think it's a good time to take a look at what we are doing and see whether or not it is delivering the result that we need. So, and if we need to if we do need to make changes to the way that we are going to market or going out to the world with our message, then we can just go ahead and wrap up with any other business and call it a meeting. Our directory of folks who are the standing members of the committee. Do we have a forum today?
No, we do not.
All right. Does not stop us. We'll continue on. Just real quick, so the outreach committee staff, the folks who are kind of your standing group of support, your support team and officers for the committee. So if you need to get a hold of us, our contact information is there in the minutes. Also, we make a habit of saying welcome to any of our new members that are joining us for the first time. I see Shruti from Bloomfilter. I think you're a first timer.
Hi.
You want to introduce yourself, Shruti? Yeah.
Hi, yeah. I am a first timer. I'm from Bloomfilter. We work with companies to improve their software using AI to find bugs and fix them. That is the very short, stripped down version of what we do. And I am interested in seeing how, honestly, just how much what I can learn and how much I can experience and what opportunities there are to network with people and with professionals in the tech industry. Yeah.
All right, that's fantastic. So welcome aboard. Any other newbies? Isaac, I think you've been here before, or have?
No, this is my first time. I am here on my name is Isaac Lopez. I am with Omniscale Media here on behalf of CLAD, a Kubernetes native confidential computing solution that is currently being unveiled.
All right.
I think Abigail may be new as well from Mainsail.
Yeah, we're fairly new as well. We've been, a couple months, I feel like, but just a new participant. But just to introduce myself again, Abigail Halder with Mainsail Industries. We're a small startup that is uniquely using confidential computing as part of our next gen hypervisor. And again, it's been a great experience thus far. We've been able to participate and be active in the community. So it's been great. Thank you.
Great. Sorry, less new than I remembered. Apologies.
All good. All good.
All right. Any other newbies out there? All right. Rest are grizzled veterans. Approval of the minutes. Any reason why the minutes from the last meeting should not be approved? Speak now. All right. Hearing no objections. The minutes are approved. All right. Just also a quick reminder, jobs board is open. Things we've got on upcoming events, AI Infrastructure Summit, which we've got scheduled for our presence in September. We'll talk more about that. RSA 2026, Hushmesh has proposed that the folks who are going to be booking booths in at RSA 2026, see if we can coordinate together to kind of cluster, and kind of create a confidential computing neighborhood. It's going to take a little bit more time than we've got today to talk about making arrangements for that, but we should. It's a worthy topic. Maybe in next week's we should come in and say, look, who's got RSA booths booked? Do you know where you are? And if not, but you're planning to go, could we start, laying out some anchor points in the physical layout of RSA to try and get people together? So when people come looking for solutions with confidential computing, they're right there in a group and can go from place, just basically move up and down the row or across the row to be able to get more information. Newsletter. Hey, any news going on?
Wait a sec. So, on that, Mike,
Okay.
Has anyone spoken to RSA about this? Because it may be this is impossible or very expensive or very cheap or very easy, and might make sense for someone to have that conversation.
Yeah, I haven't taken it any further than just absorbing Manu's suggestion. So I have not talked to RSA about whether or not it's possible. I'm sure they say, oh, it's entirely possible. It will cost you
Well,
this much.
there is a mechanism, but it's not the one that we want to be doing if we want to have it cost effective. So I think we need to find out.
Okay.
This is not going to work ad hoc. Someone needs to speak to RSA and find out what the options are before we spend any more time on it. It was a waste of our time otherwise, I think.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, newsletter content, blog submissions. Hey, we're always hungry for this. If you've got news, want to introduce yourself to the confidential computing world, or you've got, say, a new announcement for a new product, a case study with a customer, interesting new technical finding. You're always interested in having write-ups for the newsletter and for the blog. Okay, quick updates. IDC research, as you guys know, we've got the IDC research project underway. Current status is we've done cleanup of the questionnaire using all of the use cases that we submitted. Thank you to all the members who contributed to that. It is now in programming and in the active surveying. We expect the initial results in the first half of September. They say it takes a little longer during the summer because you have a lot of their survey audience is erratically attending because of summer vacations. And so expecting to see the results back from the survey in the first part of September, and then the final white paper expected in mid-October. There was some questions about, these came in via the governing board, some questions about how the survey can be used. So the survey data, I clarified with IDC to make sure that all of these uses are permitted, and they are, as long as we're following the citation guidelines and usage guidelines listed in IDC's content usage here. So we can publish it on our website. We can reproduce the charts and the tables, and we can do that. Use that in derivative marketing activities. Our members can describe the paper and link to it when it's hosted on the CCC website. The members can publish the white paper on their websites within the permitted time limits. So, if we have a 1 year, just for example, a 1 year interval to be able to publish the white paper, members can also publish it. Would be a great way to also note your affiliation with the CCC. Members can quote from the paper and reproduce the charts and tables in their marketing with CCC permission and within the time limits. Okay, so that's a quick update on that. Okay, the mascot name. All right, our little friend here is after
Drum roll.
Tico. So,
Fanfare.
it was a hard-fought slugfest between Coco, CC, and Tico. But after much input, a false start because Coco is freighted with meaning, and our governing board has said, we're not gonna try and name our mascot something that has all kinds of meaning in other parts of the industry. We have gone with Tico, which a lot of people liked and not many people hated. So, welcome Tico. We'll probably move on to some things to start using our little friend Tico here, and things like stickers. We'll probably look at some lockups with the logo. We might want to think about little slogans and stuff that would work well with Tico and the logo. That these would be things that we could pass out at events or let members have to be able to share around, get the word out on water bottles and laptop lids the world over. So let's we'll probably put together some proposals for that. There's some interesting things about how we would want to both source and distribute. Do we want to make these printable on demand by anybody anywhere, or do we identify like a sticker source, and then members who want a supply of the stickers, we can just drop ship them from that sticker source to wherever the member is.
We might want to just get some guidance or suggestions from the OpenSSF community, because they do this a lot with their Goose. Sorry, Ab.
Okay.
Yeah, just a quick comment on the kind of tagline. We should probably be clear on maybe even define maybe a few taglines. I'll be concerned if each company member will start, creating their own taglines for the mascot. So I don't know if there was any thoughts on that, but I think it should be
100% agree. So, I'm exercising my own creativity with the mind your own business example.
I love it, by the way. I really love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's actually great. I'm just saying in terms of like, it would be good to have maybe just like, hey, pick. Well, we can ask the creative team to come up, or all us as well together. We come in maybe 4 or 5, and then company members can pick from them instead of taking theirs. I'll just be mindful that we keep control of what's being associated with the mascot.
I agree. Okay, let's take that up on the next call, because I want to keep plugging ahead for the strategy discussion. Okay. Dan, do we have updates on the website? Did this get updated?
Yes, this is just flagging that those nav updates that folks requested have been made. So the links to the blog post submission form, newsletter submission form, artwork repo, they're all in the navigation now.
All right. So thank you very much, Dan. So members, go ahead and dive in there on that Get Involved link on the website. So if you've got a blog post, if you've got a newsletter blurb that you want to get promoted, please go ahead and just jump on and use those. No reason to go seeking out me, Rianne, Renew, anybody to try and find those links. It's right there on the website. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, and for the blog post link, it's new because we were getting a lot of spam on the old links. So just flagging that is updated. Otherwise, it's the same. The old one we've left up. We'll leave it up for a month just in case folks, have it bookmarked. But please use this one going forward.
Okay, Mike. I see your hands
Yeah,
up.
just asking who vets these.
Who vets the blogs and the newsletter?
So
yeah,
we run all of it by like anything that comes in the blog, we run by the TAC before it gets published. Because we have gotten things that are, basically advertisements rather than useful information for the community. So we do make sure that the TAC is okay with any content before it's published.
And for newsletter, it goes via
The outreach.
Outreach, perfect. That's great. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Quick question, Dan. Are these links to blog posts, or are these new blog posts within the CC website?
These are links if you have a blog that you would like us to post on the CCC website.
I see. So this is like some existing blog and some other medium which
So I
gets
certainly assumed
cross-posted
this
here.
was. I assumed this was. I want to submit a blog post to be hosted on the CCC. I think we need to
That's exactly it,
disambiguate
yes.
then. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Okay,
I just heard
cool.
you say the opposite.
No. This is if you want us to post something that you've written on the blog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On our blog. Okay,
Correct.
fine. All right, that's
Yes.
fine. Okay, sorry.
Okay, thanks. That's what I clarify.
Okay, let's see. All right, social metrics.
Okay, I'm just gonna give a really quick update on the LinkedIn performance for June. So we published 12 posts this month with a focus on mini summit promotion, our monthly newsletter, Lenaro Connect, and promotion with Super Protocol. And I see Julia's here, so thanks so much for the content. So follower growth was steady. We're now at 2298 followers, which is up by 1.55% comparing to last month. And the big highlight this month is that the impressions saw a major jump. We reached 6219, which is a 143% increase from May. And that spikes align with the timing of the mini summit content. So from this, we can see that the event focused posts are resonating with the audiences. And we'll keep tracking what formats and topics are driving engagement to optimize going forward. So that's all.
I think this is an interesting point that we're going to have to think about when we get to your pieces, Mike.
Yep. And so thanks again, especially to Julia and Super Protocol, diving in with new content to be posted. So thank you so much. And everyone else that contributed, that is fantastic, but congrats on the top post trophy. All right, Open Source Summit North America is the next topic. So we hosted that mini summit. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that by most marketing metrics, it was a bit of a disappointment. There were some excellent conversations with a few people, but the emphasis is a few people. We were basically in the number of attendees that were not presenters or not affiliated with a presenter was in the low single digits. So I would say that the root cause of this is that the committee did most of its work on logistical issues. Book the space, book the speakers, put together an agenda. But we came up short in driving promotion and audience acquisition activities. Basically, if you're familiar with the movie Field of Dreams, we built it and they didn't come. So the learning here is like we've got to put in at least as much effort into promotion and audience acquisition as we have into development of the content. If we are not going to invest in promotion and audience acquisition, which by the way is just as much, if not more work than putting the agenda together, it's just putting on a party with no guests, and we need to rethink. The other thing that I have observed, both with respect to the consortium and with respect to my day job at Intel, is that we are, just by the nature of this organization, we are leading with the technology, coming out and we're saying, here is confidential computing. And that's really not what people are shopping for. They're not saying, I need to go out and buy me some confidential computing. They're thinking about, I need to find a way to not get fined by my regulator for the way I'm handling this data in this application, or I am deeply concerned about the provenance of this software as it moves through the supply chain. How do I, are there solutions that can give me confidence in the provenance of my software? Or is this workload that I'm interacting with actually truly what I think it is? Those are the things that people are looking for. The fact that confidential computing is a technological mechanism that can enable that is not what's first in their minds. So I think we need to consider how we are presenting ourselves to the audience. Are we going to present ourselves as the advocates for a technology, or are we going to present as the bringers of solutions for specific problems? There's an interesting question about the nature of a industry consortium versus a private for-profit company that's wrapped up in that. And we need to do some thinking about that related to our conversation later about marketing strategy. Mike.
Yeah, so I'm going to agree with a lot of that, but take issue with one bit, I think, which is you said people are looking. And I think that's a certain set of personas are looking for that. But there does seem to be, I think, still and this is shown up, I think, in the social media stuff we just seen, a lot of people, techie people, or people who need to have at least some technical understanding of what it is, who do need to know what confidential computing is. They've heard about it. They think it might be a fit. Yes, we absolutely need to be pushing use cases, and we've done that, and maybe need to do more of it, and solutions. But we are the Confidential Computing Consortium, and we need to be able to talk to explain what that is and how it's helpful to people when they search for that. And I think people do, particularly technical people, need to understand what's going on there. So I think there is absolutely a balance between these two sorts of things. And when we put on technical talks, they get a lot of hits. I understand it, particularly on the social media.
Yeah, and this is another one of these issues that's wrapped into the strategy discussion, which is, are we targeting developers? Are we targeting technical implementers? Or are we targeting use case end users? And I don't think right now it feels like we are doing that with we do what we do and then we get what we get. We're not saying I am targeting this, this is for developers. I am going out to look to talk to people who are building applications of various sorts, and I am going to, here is a technical issue that they are going to have to deal with, and here is great information that will be help them along their way. That would be fantastic. Or flip side of that is I am targeting CISOs in financial services that are thinking every day about DORA compliance. And I am going to discuss how this is an area, this particular the in-use requirements of DORA require a new approach, and we have this technology that can help them do that. Blah 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 blah. We need to just be very conscious about which one of these approaches that we are hitting, that we're taking the right the tone, tactics, channels for each of them. I don't know if we are as conscious or deliberate as a group as we probably should be. Ab.
Yeah, somehow aligned with what you're saying. It's I don't know if we have identified it's not really like a formal term, but like a decision-making chain, and then there are different touch points, right? It will be CTO, it will be the technical implementers, there will be the business, more of a business kind of leader in each of that leads into the decision making to say, yes, we're going to adopt, let's say in a given company, right? To say we're going to adopt or we're going to use computational computing. So that decision making chain of influence, or whatever you want to call it, that will have different actors in it, and some of them are technical, some are execs, some more of a developer. I guess I'm aligning with what you're saying, is that basically we need to be deliberate in what we're doing, but I don't think it's one or the other. I think we cannot do everything. We cannot do everything. I agree with, like, obviously we are, both in terms of bandwidth, money, etc. So we have to prioritize which will have the most impact. But I think that kind of decision making process chain of of actors to adopt computational computing. I'm not sure if we took time necessarily to define that, and I'm not saying it's easy to define. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, I guess, with the group.
And this is, and this is exactly the kind of stuff that is on my mind. Let's put a pin in the thought that you have right now, and let's revisit it here in a couple of slides. The other thing is that around the events is event presence it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of labor by a lot of people, and we are an all volunteer force. We have a few program managers and our executive director that are paid to be folks that are part of this, but none of us are like full-time event managers. And I'm sure you guys know from your company that when you sign up for an event, it's a boatload of work for somebody. And we might want to just decide whether or not you just take a hard look at it, and whether or not events exceed our capacity, our skill set, or our will for how much we want to invest in terms of labor. Okay, AI infrastructure. Speaking of events, talk about the next one.
So Yulia had a hand up, and I have a hand up as well.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, thank you. So I just want to get back to this question of who to target. I truly believe that if we drive any project, first we sell the business story. And once when it is sold, then those who we're working with onboard technical people and go into the details of answering all these kind of security questions, etc., etc. So I would not, as Abe I think said, we do not need to choose the audience or the other, but I would just consider that if we really want to increase awareness, promote, and make this audience acquisition, as Mike, you mentioned before, right? We definitely need to ensure that the business is aware about the opportunities that this technology unlocks, what kind of pain points the technology can solve, the business pain points, and then it's how it's being done. And that's why I would, at least from my side, I would definitely support going to primarily those kind of business stories, but definitely keep in mind that we need to work with all the actually audiences. We do not need to pick one audience over the other, because to run the project you need to sell the story to everyone so that they are on your side with you, and that's a win-win. So you do not struggle, you do not fight with them, but we all find the ways to solve the business problem of this or another project. So I would definitely focus on targeting all the audiences, but I would assume that the current state, we have a lot of invested into technological side, but the key question, why and what it helps in business, has not been solved, at least to the broader audience, I mean.
I think we are in violent agreement on that. And I think it's very similar to what Ab was advocating, which is we don't have to say we're only, as an organization, we're only picking one to the exclusion of the others. But I think we need to be conscious of who we're talking to, and we probably need to think about prioritization. Mike.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe I want to talk about this in the further topic, but we also need to think about what we mean by doing events. There is organizing an event from the ground up. There is participating in a pre-organized event. There is putting up speakers. There is having a booth. These are separate things, and there's always just putting forward CFPs to things that we hope that we're going to get sessions for, or even just paying for a session. And there's quite a spectrum here. We have to decide which of those we're going to do, because some of them are more manageable than others, and some of them, if it's about CFPs, I can do that. It'll be just my voice though, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Okay, we'll come back to this later on.
I think it's a great point. Okay, let's forge ahead. AI Infrastructure Summit. This is another event that we signed up for with a package of activities a while back. It's September 9th through 11th in Santa Clara. We were offered, with our package, we got a number of different pieces, and we've got essentially everything covered right now in terms of a lead within the membership. So on the enterprise AI panel, Manu Fontaine from Hushmesh, is on board, is working with the organizers. The pre-show online seminar, Abby at Mainsail has offered to take the lead on that. I've seen the emails back and forth. It's a little behind schedule, but Abby's engaged on it and working with the organizers. The live session at the show, Jamie has volunteered to take the lead on that one. They are working directly. The podcast with Tech Arena, Manu Fontaine from Hushmesh and Jason Rogers from Invari have both indicated interest. When I talk to Tech Arena, this isn't exactly hey, this comes with your sponsorship or your package at AI Infrastructure Summit. It's basically, we are available and you can pay us for us to do a podcast. So I was about to just bail out, but then they said, look, we love standards organizations, or we love industry organizations. So we're going to give you a free recording session here. So that's why we're going to have, that's how we came to have this. So Manu and Jason and their peeps are working with Tech Arena to book a date, get a set of questions together. I think everybody knows the kind of the 80-20 rule, which is when you're at these things, you are 80% an advocate for our technology and for our collective interests, and 20% there to showcase your own products and services. Booth, we do not, we talked about this last time on a go, no go. We decided to go. We need to have setup and teardown leads determined, and we need to have our it's still a little early for staffing, but we are going to need to have a staffing plan for the booth so it doesn't just sit empty. So I think what we need to do is seriously think about what presence do we want in the booth. You know, what are the AV requirements? What is the content plan in the booth? What are we going to be showcasing? What is the staffing schedule? And then just making sure that everybody is trained up to know what to do when you're in a booth advocating for the CCC.
So, Mike, I expect to be there. I should be able to help with quite a lot of this stuff as we go along. Doesn't mean I can be leading all of it, but filling in some gaps on staffing, helping people with discussing about what you need to say and stuff is stuff that I should be able to help with. I'm happy to be part of the podcast as well if Invari and Hashmesh would like me to do that.
Yeah, we've already got. I mean, Tech Arena likes them one-on-one. They'll do two-on-one.
Fine.
They won't do three-on-one.
I don't mind.
Okay, no, I appreciate it. But okay, credits the Hilton Canopy one. Let's given the time, I'm a little concerned about this. Do we have Laura or Guzzo on? I don't think so. Okay. All right. So Laura Martinez at NVIDIA, Mateus Guzzo at TikTok are taking the lead on this. This was the credit that we accumulated for what was going to be the CC Summit Happy Hour, but that did not come together. And so instead of just losing the money, we're going to use it for something else. So what we're planning to do is have a seminar we're targeting October 20th in San Francisco. We have the capacity of the room is, it's full. It's full, very full at 40. It's comfortably full at about 32, 35. So we want to try and get 32 or 35 folks in the room and spend the day advocating for confidential computing and solutions built out of and enabled by confidential computing, targeting audiences that are local to the San Francisco Bay Area. So the initial proposal would be something like a build around a theme of strategies to protect sensitive or regulated data in the AI era. It'd be a half-day workshop. We probably starting at like 11 till about 4. Then there would be, we'd plan an agenda for the day, focusing on use cases. Wrap it all up with some final remarks. Small happy hour, send everybody on their way. There's some questions that we need to answer about how we want to do this. Do we want to focus on industry verticals? Like, do we say financial or healthcare? San Francisco is a big town for financial services. Do we want to focus on healthcare? You've got, a lot of hospitals. You've got UCSF all around in that area. Do you want to take a swing at horizontals, focus just in on confidential AI across all industries? We need to figure out how we want to approach the agenda and approach the audience acquisition.
My proposal is that we say the outreach committee says to Laura and Guzzo, you said you'll take this. We appreciate that. Could you please provide us with a plan by the end of next week so that we can work with you on that? I think we need to give them a chance to put it together. If we got any strong views, we can put that into the process, but I think we need to give them a chance to make it happen.
Yeah, and go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, and I'm kind of assuming that they kind of want me there to sort of top and tail and be and shake hands and stuff, and I'm happy to do that if that's going to make sense.
Okay, great. Now, in terms of community involvement, we would want to have things like member organizations. There's going to be probably a mix of opportunities for member member organizations to be able to speak at the conference if it's a fit for what the audience and the purpose of it is going to be. And also to bring your customers, if you have customers in the area and wanted to invite them, we could make sure that they would get, passes, tickets in, reserve a seat for them, your customer, at the event, so they can attend and be able to be part of it.
Mike, sorry, so is this event paid?
Do people have to pay to attend it? No.
Yeah. Okay, so free pass just because of the limited number of attendees. Got you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. This leads us to our strategy discussion. All right. I'm trying to hope this is not just a Mike Farron Jones monologue, and I want to get as many views as possible, but we're running short on time, so we may have to extend this to the next meeting as well. I have a theory, or I have a assertion that our current tactical menu is not yielding the results that we would like or the ROI that we would like. And that event sponsorship and presence play a very dominant role in our strategy and our budget. You could just look at today's agenda and how dominated it is by event-related discussions. And as we've noted, that events are really labor intensive. And so for an all volunteer group like the CCC Outreach Committee, a marketing strategy that requires a lot of people to put in a lot of hours, or a few people to put in a ton of hours, is a difficult play. We also noted several times that we don't have among our laborers, people who have a ton of events experience. We're not specifically skilled at the moving the levers of audience acquisition and promotion of promotional events and working with organizers and stuff like that. We're okay at it, but it's not like having a real pro, that's a professional event organizer. The sponsorship is expensive, so it's a big buy-in, but then once you buy in, you've got to have a presence. You've got to have the people there. You've got to, there's travel, there's there's AV, there is audience acquisition and reaching out to other people. All of those things cost a lot of money, and we aren't going to be this rich next year. This is probably our highest budget year, and the budgets for the next year are likely to be less rich. And so the other thing is that the CCC, what do we represent? What is, this organization is here to be a collective effort to promote a technology, right? So we're here to promote the use of confidential computing as a way to protect data and use. As I was speaking earlier, that's often not exactly what many types of audience are shopping for. They're shopping for a solution to a problem, not a specific technology. Now, this leads to things like developers versus end users. So anyway, I think these are some of the issues that I think we need to think about. We need to do things like balancing all of these factors, and I'm not going to burn a lot more time explaining it, but you think of all these things: our budget, the ability to, how active do you have to manage something? Do you want to have lasting assets? Do you want to have personal contact? How do we want to rebalance our portfolio between things like events, search, social, content marketing, developer versus end user, championing the technology versus solutions and use cases and verticals? So this is what is on my mind. And I think we need to have a real deep think about how we want to go forward, given the mission, the resources, and the target audiences that we want to go discuss. Mike, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, so I think you're right about all of this, but I do want to revisit the thing about there's more than one type of event. And we need to think, if it doesn't require promotion, for instance, or it doesn't require booth staffing, then are we happy to do it? And so again, it's absolutely about ROI, and I agree. But I think we should be careful of just saying we're not going to do events, because that probably isn't what we want to do. Because at the very least, we probably want to be, having me, as I said before, or other people, putting in CFPs to talk at events and appearing and being there. And so, for instance, OSS North America had a number of confidential computing talks. OSFF in New York has a track on confidential computing. I know because I just put in 2 CFPs to it. So, we may not want to be paying to be there, but we should probably have people there and work out what that means for us. So yes, and in that we need to work out what we're balancing, but also work out what our options are that we could do cheaper, which might still give us return on investment. Maybe my going to events isn't a good return on investment. That discuss also.
Yeah, and I'm gonna, again, ROI, there's 2 variables in ROI. There's how much return and how much did you invest. So laying out $60,000 or $80,000 for a sponsorship may not yield what we want, but doing a successfully winning a call for paper or a panel speakership and investing $5,000 in travel expenses to get an advocate heard by the audience is perhaps a fantastic use.
Yeah, and the work in putting together the abstract. But I agree, and that probably is a lot better. And I agree, and we might want to think about putting aside dollars for that instead of the pure sponsorship of events. That's the sort of balance that we might think about, I think.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Whoops.
Mike, if
I'm going
I
to
may.
need to go in 5.
Oh,
sorry, please, Yulia.
Yes, so I'm just looking at this. So I fully agree and support that some transformations and changes may yield more awareness. That's all we all need from our experience, because Super is a cloud and a marketplace. We are actually connecting suppliers from, I don't know, OEM, like from compute resources to actually the developers and the end customers. So we have an opportunity to have this dialogue with all possible audiences from different sides. But what we actually see is a very low awareness of confidential computing in general. And we have to explain its benefits from the business perspective, etc. So when I look at the developers versus end users, for me, this is not either one or the other. For me, as a super protocol, right, when we look at the audiences, what is developer? It's AI startupper who is developing the some services for these end customers based on AI, for example, right? And in order not to be, for example, intermediate in this service allocation, when they get the data that they do not need to have an access to, the confidential computing technology is the way that they could use. So these kind of audience can actually help us move faster with the end users. And when I assume you are talking about end users, you are not talking specifically about consumers, you are potentially talking about corporate end users. which have a very long deployment, pilot, POC process to even assess the technology. So the more audiences is aware about confidential computing possibilities in general, the better we will be able to get the role bowling on every stage. So this is for me, these are the this is the real overall awareness of the technology, and from the business perspective that is really lacking and we are missing significantly. I'm looking at this June social media post, which we have like the top one. If you see, it's like 6K impressions. So while it's great to have 6K impressions, we definitely all want to have much more followers on our social, join CCC, on our followers, right? So we definitely need to bring much more audiences to be aware about confidential computing and what CCC enables with all the partners and members, with all the different solutions can help to achieve. So that's like my thinking about the audience specifically, and that's why I'm definitely toward more content creation, joint ones, etc., to increase this awareness of what could be really unlocked with the help of this technology.
That's great. And it leads me actually, Yulia, very nicely onto a question I had for Angela, which is in terms of engagement with videos and stuff, firstly, is there a difference between engagement with videos which were recorded live in front of a studio audience, if you see what I mean, in front of a conference audience, versus something that we've just put together, if we have done that? And secondly, do we have any figures, do you have any idea of what type of videos people like to watch the most? What is it technical stuff? Is it general use case stuff? And I'm not expecting you to answer this now, but I think it'd be great to have some idea about those so that we can understand. It's just another set of data to bring into this set of questions, please.
So I don't have the exact numbers with me yet, but based on my experience for social media video promotion, especially on platforms like LinkedIn, X, so usually the short snippets would be the most popular ones because they're short and easy to consume. And usually people would put like a really high level snippets of the talk. For example, like a less than a minute talk from Mini Summit, something like that would work really well on social media platforms. And if we're looking into YouTube, I'll need to dig into the data specifically.
So yeah, let's do that. That'd be really helpful. Thank you, Angela.
Okay, I see Jamie's got her hand up.
Yeah, I appreciate this rebalancing discussion.
We're losing you. Really bad audio, Jamie.
Now we have Jamie, I think your connection is not strong enough.
I've got to dash, I'm afraid. I have to prep for another meeting. Thank you. Really good meeting. Thanks very much indeed, Mike. FD.
Okay, thanks, Mike. So here's a question for those present. Strategy by collective committee is sometimes difficult to achieve. Just the dynamics of a group, folks just saying, I'm not sure what my role here is. Do we want to try? What I'd like to try and do is try and get a lot of people's thoughts on the table. And then I was thinking that maybe we should try and just peel off a small group to put together a revised marketing strategy, an outreach strategy for a proposal to put before the group, and basically shop it to both the membership here and outreach plus the governing board to get approval of a plan, and a strategy that we can execute against, and it's that strategy would take into account the highest return on one, I think we need to have a really well thought out point of view about what's the point of this organization, right? What does it really exist to do? And is it to promote this technology? Is it to promote specific use cases? Is it to enhance the commercial fortunes of the member companies? What is it a developer organization? Is it an end user organization? Is it all of these things? And in what mix or priorities? So and once some of those things are thought about and addressed, then what is our portfolio of tactics? What is our mix going to look like going into the latter part of 2025 and into 2026? That we can put together a strategy template that says, all right, this is what we are going to do, and this is where we're going to invest. All right, that is my proposal. Anyone interested in volunteering to be part of that?
No, you can cut me in.
All right.
Mine as well, please. I'm okay to be part of that if possible.
That was, sorry, I didn't see who said that.
Yulia,
Was that
super.
Yulia? Okay, I thought. It was Yulia. I didn't. You were not on. You were below the cut line of the attendee list on my display, so I didn't see that you were talking.
I'm vocal.
It's all good. Okay.
Abby, with Maine still, I'd welcome the opportunity to be part of that discussion as well.
Okay.
If possible.
All right. I will.
And in the chat, I see Jamie is also raising a hand.
All right. Okay. I will try to put together a. Okay. Sorry, just taking some notes here. All right. We are at time. So any other business that we need to cover before we wrap it up for this round?
I'll be the annoying one. We haven't closed yet the marketing dash outreach channel on Slack. Sorry. We said we'd do that because I still Steve posts on one channel. We said we're gonna have only one outreach channel in Slack. We still have both.
No, I think what we concluded that there's outreach management, which is just it's chair, vice chair, the program managers, and Mike. And then there's the members channel, which is just outreach. Are you seeing something different?
There's an outreach dash marketing channel if you search in Slack.
Oh, that needs to go away.
Yep.
All right. We will make that happen.
Right.
Like a very quick question, if I may. On several meetings before today, there was a discussion of some event that should potentially take place in New York. And I was saying that I will get back on that as we are based in New York. So, but I have not heard with all my questions if such an event takes place. So if you hear anything or could clarify it, that would be amazing. I'm more for online events, but physically being in New York definitely would be able to support if it happens, of course.
Okay. I don't think that is on our plan right now. I haven't seen that one.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great 2 weeks, and we'll see you back here in a fortnight.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.